The vast emptiness of space stretched out around the 5 human ships as they moved deeper into unknown territory. The ships were small compared to the giant vessels they were about to meet. Their metal hulls reflected the distant stars as they traveled in perfect formation. Captain Olivia Martinez stood on the bridge of the USS Horizon, her eyes fixed on the main screen. She was in her 40s, with short brown hair and a face that showed both kindness and strength. She had led many missions before, but this one was different. This was humanity's first contact with the Galactic Confederation. "Captain, we're picking up signals ahead," said Lisa Chen from her communication station. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing panel. "They're hailing us." Martinez nodded and straightened her blue uniform. "This is it, everyone. First impression matters. Let's show them that humans know how to be good neighbors." The screen flickered and changed to show an alien face. The creature had purple skin with small ridges along its forehead and large, yellow eyes that blinked sideways. "I am Commander Zix Valor of the Arcturus species," the alien said in a surprisingly clear voice. "You have entered Confederation space. Identify yourselves." Martinez stepped forward. "I am Captain Olivia Martinez of the USS Horizon, representing Earth and the United Human Alliance. We come in peace and friendship, hoping to establish diplomatic relations with your people." The alien's eyes narrowed as they looked past Martinez at the bridge of the human ship. The corners of its mouth twisted slightly. "Earth? We have no record of this world or your species." Commander Zix Valor's voice carried a tone of boredom. "Your vessels appear quite basic. How did you manage interstellar travel with such primitive technology?" Jason Miller, the tactical officer, glanced at Martinez. He was a tall man with dark skin and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "They're scanning our ships, Captain," he whispered, "and they're not being subtle about it." Martinez kept her smile in place. "We've been traveling the stars for only 50 years, Commander. We're eager to learn from more advanced civilizations like yours." The alien made a sound that might have been a laugh. "Indeed. Well, we welcome all new species to the Confederation. Please follow our escort ships to our nearby outpost. We can begin diplomatic discussions there." The screen showed a wider view, revealing 2 massive alien ships approaching. Each one was at least 20 times larger than the Horizon. Their sleek, curved designs made the human ships look like children's toys in comparison. "Those are warships," Miller said quietly. "Heavily armed. Thank you for your welcome," Martinez replied to the alien commander. "We'll follow your lead." The screen went dark. Martinez turned to her crew. "Thoughts?" "They're not impressed," Miller said, crossing his arms. "That might work to our advantage." Frank Dawson spoke up from the engineering station. He was older than most of the crew, with gray hair and hands that showed years of practical work. "Captain, something's odd about their scan patterns. They're looking at our hull and weapons, but they're missing key systems. They think we're primitive," Dr. Catherine Powell added. The ship's xenobiologist was a woman with red hair tied back in a practical ponytail. "I've studied enough species to recognize contempt when I see it." Martinez nodded slowly. "Keep all systems in passive mode. Let them think what they want for now." She pressed a button on her chair. "All ships, this is Captain Martinez. Follow the alien vessels but maintain distance protocol. And remember the mission." The 5 human ships adjusted their course, following the much larger alien vessels toward a distant space station. The station grew larger on their screens, a massive structure with spinning rings and glowing lights, easily 10 times the size of the largest human space station. "Impressive," said Daniel Garcia from the navigation console. The young lieutenant whistled softly. "Must be home to thousands." Samuel Wright, the security chief, wasn't admiring the view. His muscular frame tensed as he studied the station. "I count at least 30 weapon emplacements on the outer ring alone. They're powering up targeting systems." "Standard procedure," Martinez said calmly. "When unknown ships approach, we do the same." "Not with that level of firepower," Wright muttered. The ships docked at one of the station's many arms. Martinez selected a small team to join her for the initial meeting: Miller, Powell, and Chen. They walked through the connecting tube to the station where a group of aliens waited. There were 5 different species present, each more strange than the last. Commander Zix Valor stood in front, his purple skin shining under the bright lights. "Welcome to Outpost Gamma 9, he said. "We rarely receive visitors from uncharted regions." Martinez extended her hand, then remembered the briefing on alien customs and quickly pulled it back. "Thank you for your hospitality. We're honored to be the first humans to meet the Confederation." A tall, thin alien with 4 arms leaned down to whisper something to Commander Zix Valor. They both made the same strange laughing sound. "Please follow us to the diplomatic chamber," Zix Valor said. "Your modest fleet can remain docked. I'm sure your crew will be comfortable in their little ships." As they walked through the station's corridors, Miller stayed close to Martinez. "They're showing off," he whispered. "Every section we pass through has either advanced technology or military capability on display." Powell nodded slightly. Classic intimidation behavior. The diplomatic chamber was a large room with a round table in the center. Views of space filled the walls, and Martinez realized they were actual windows, not screens. The resources needed to create such large transparent sections in a space station were enormous. As they sat down, one of the aliens, a stocky creature with rocky skin, spoke in a grinding voice. "How many ships does your Earth possess? Surely not many if these 5 represent a diplomatic mission." "We brought what was necessary for peaceful contact," Martinez answered smoothly. Commander Zix Valar's yellow eyes seemed to glow. "Of course. The Confederation consists of 57 species across 200 worlds. Our combined fleet numbers in the thousands." "Impressive," Martinez said. "We look forward to learning about your cultures and technologies." "Yes," the commander replied, "and we are very interested in studying yours, primitive though it may be. Perhaps we could arrange a tour of your vessel." Chen caught Martinez's eye with a subtle look of warning. "We would be happy to exchange tours," Martinez said. "Both of our ships and this magnificent station." "Excellent," Commander Zix Valor said. "We shall begin immediately. I'm sure it won't take long to see everything your small fleet has to offer." As they stood to leave, Miller whispered to Martinez, "They've already decided we're not a threat." Martinez nodded slightly. "Good," she whispered back. "That was the plan." The grand hall of the Confederation outpost glittered with strange lights and exotic decorations. Captain Martinez and her small team stood among dozens of alien species. Many of the aliens were much taller than humans, with some reaching nearly 10 feet in height. Dr. Catherine Powell watched closely as different alien representatives studied the humans with poorly hidden amusement. She had spent years learning to read alien body language, and right now every species in the room was showing signs of dismissal. "Notice how they keep us in the center?" she whispered to Martinez. "We're being displayed like curiosities." Martinez nodded slightly. "Let them look." A group of tall blue aliens with 4 arms approached. One of them held up a scanner and pointed it at Powell's uniform badge. "Such simple communication devices," the alien said in a high-pitched voice. "Do they even work beyond short range?" Powell smiled politely. "They serve our needs." "Of course they do," the alien replied with a sound like bells tinkling. "Just as a child's drawing serves its need for expression." Across the room, Security Chief Samuel Wright was having a similar experience. A reptilian alien with scales that shifted colors was examining Wright's sidearm. "Is this truly a weapon?" the alien asked, blinking vertical eyelids. "It seems more like a tool for making noise." Wright kept his face neutral. "It's standard issue." "Fascinating," the reptilian said. "Our youngest hatchlings play with more advanced devices." Commander Zix Valar approached Martinez with a tall, thin alien whose skin seemed to flow like water. "Captain, this is High Minister Elon Thar of the Aquarian Collective," Zix Valor said. "The minister oversees the integration of new species into our confederation." The Aquarian's liquid-like face formed into what might have been a smile. "So these are humans, smaller than I expected." Martinez extended her hand, then caught herself again. We come in peace and friendship, Minister. Yes, yes, all new species. Say the same. Elanthar waved a flowing limb dismissively. Tell me, how many worlds has your kind settled? 1? 2, perhaps? We have colonies on Mars and Europa in our home system, and outposts in 2 nearby systems, Martinez answered. The alien made a bubbling sound. Charming. The Arcturus alone controls 73 systems. The Confederation as a whole spans nearly a quarter of the galaxy. Impressive, Martinez said. We hope to learn from your experience. Indeed you shall, Commander Zixvalar cut in. In fact, we've already prepared a proposal for Earth to become a protected territory under Confederation guidance. Martinez raised an eyebrow. Protected territory? We haven't even discussed formal relations yet. The minister's liquid face rippled. It's our standard approach with developing species. We provide technology, defense, and guidance in exchange for certain resource rights and access to your unique biological diversity. I see, Martinez said carefully. That's certainly something we would need to discuss with our government. Of course, Zixvalar said. Now, I believe we arranged for a tour of your vessel? Martinez nodded. Lieutenant Miller will escort you. As Miller led Zixvalar and several other aliens toward the docking bay, Communications Officer Lisa Chen approached Martinez with a concerned look. Captain, I need to speak with you privately, she said quietly. They moved to a corner of the hall. Chen's voice was barely above a whisper. I've been monitoring their internal communications with my portable translator. They're discussing Earth as a resource-rich acquisition and debating how quickly they can establish a guidance council to oversee our planet. Martinez frowned. Are you certain? Positive, Chen replied. They also mentioned studying our crude but interesting propulsion technology. They seem particularly interested in something they called our unusual energy signatures. Keep listening, Martinez instructed, and tell Wright to stay alert during the tour. Back on the USS Horizon, Lieutenant Miller was showing Commander Zixvalar and 3 other aliens through the ship's main corridors. He deliberately took them through the older, more basic sections of the ship. This is our main propulsion control, Miller explained, showing them a room with simple-looking control panels and displays. Zixvalar touched one of the screens with obvious contempt. How do you manage interstellar travel with such basic systems? We're still learning, Miller said humbly. One of the other aliens, a tall insectoid creature, chittered something to Zixvalar in their own language. Miller pretended not to notice the translator device hidden in his uniform badge, picking up every word. Yes, their containment field technology is surprisingly inefficient, Zixvalar replied to the insectoid, but their asteroid mining methods might be useful in depleted systems. The tour continued to the crew quarters and mess hall. As they walked, one of the aliens, a short, stocky being with rocky skin, fell behind the group. Security Chief Wright, who had been following at a distance, watched as the alien placed a small device on a wall junction before hurrying to catch up. Wright tapped his badge twice, the signal for a security concern. He then carefully removed the device with a specialized tool and placed it in a containment pouch. When the tour reached the bridge, Chief Engineer Frank Dawson was waiting. The older man's face gave nothing away as the aliens examined the control stations with obvious amusement. And this is your main computer interface? Zixvalar asked, pointing to Dawson's engineering station. Yes, Commander, Dawson replied. Not much compared to your systems, I'm sure. Indeed, the alien said with that same laughing sound. Our maintenance drones have more processing power. As the aliens continued their inspection, Wright entered the bridge and discreetly handed the small device to Dawson. The engineer examined it briefly before sliding it into a scanner hidden under his station. When the tour ended and the aliens had left the ship, Martinez called her senior staff to the conference room. Report, she said simply. Wright spoke first. They planted surveillance devices throughout the ship. We've found and contained 12 so far. The device is interesting, Dawson added. Advanced, but not as advanced as they want us to believe. It's designed to monitor power fluctuations more than communications, Chen nodded. That matches what I've been hearing. They're very interested in our power systems for some reason. Dr. Powell? Martinez turned to the xenobiologist. They're following a standard colonial approach, Powell said. First, convince us they're vastly superior. Second, offer protection we don't need. Third, establish a presence on Earth to begin resource extraction. Classic empire building, Miller added. They see us as a primitive society they can easily control. Martinez was quiet for a moment. Then she looked at each of her officers. And what did all of you think of their technology? Dawson smiled slightly. Their ships are big and impressive, but their power management is wasteful. They use brute force where we use efficiency. Their weapons are powerful but slow to target, Wright added. And their shields have regular cycling patterns that create predictable weak points. Martinez nodded. So they have exactly the weaknesses Earth Command predicted. She stood up and walked to the window, looking out at the massive space station. We were sent here not just for diplomacy, but to assess whether the Confederation would be a threat to Earth. She turned back to her crew. I think we have our answer. The question now is, what do we do about it? Captain Martinez sat alone in her quarters looking at the message on her screen. Earth Command had responded to her report about the Confederation's true intentions. The message was clear. Protect Earth's interests. Use full capabilities if necessary. She took a deep breath and pressed the communication button. All senior officers to the secure conference room. Priority Alpha. 10 minutes later, her team gathered around the table in a small room deep within the USS Horizon. This room had special shielding that blocked any scanning or listening devices. Earth Command has given us new orders, Martinez said. They believe the Confederation poses a real threat to our independence. What exactly are we authorized to do? Miller asked, his face serious. Whatever is necessary to ensure Earth's safety, Martinez replied, including revealing our true capabilities. The officers exchanged glances. They had all been briefed before the mission that their ships carried technology far beyond what they were showing to the aliens. What's our first move, Captain? Chen asked. Engineer Dawson will begin activating our hidden systems. Lieutenant Garcia has detected probes being sent toward Earth's coordinates. We need to stop those first. Garcia nodded. I tracked 3 small vessels leaving the station 6 hours. Ego. They're fast and heading directly toward our home system. Right. Prepare defensive measures, Martinez ordered. Powell, I need you to continue analyzing their shield frequencies. Chen, keep monitoring their communications. Captain, Dawson, spoke up? I've been studying their power systems. They have a weakness we can exploit. Their shields and weapons draw from the same energy source. They can't maintain both at full strength simultaneously. Good work, Martinez said. We'll use that if necessary. She stood up. I'm going to meet with Commander Zix Valor one more time to see if diplomacy can still work. If not, we move to Plan B. An hour later, Martinez stood in Commander Zix Valor's office on the space station. The purple-skinned alien sat behind a large desk, looking down at her with those yellow eyes. Captain Martinez, he said smoothly, have you considered our generous offer of protection for your planet? I have, Martinez replied, and I must decline. Earth wishes to establish equal diplomatic relations, not become a protected territory. The alien's face hardened. That is unfortunate. Perhaps you don't understand your situation. Your small fleet and your single inhabited planet are in no position to negotiate terms. We simply want peaceful relations, Martinez said calmly. Peace comes with a price, Zix Valor said. The Confederation requires access to certain resources on all member worlds, and if we refuse, the alien commander stood up. He was nearly 2 feet taller than Martinez. Then you are not friends of the Confederation, and those who are not friends are problems to be solved. Martinez met his gaze steadily. I understand. When do you expect an answer? You have 6 hours to reconsider, Zix Valor said. After that, we will be forced to take steps to secure the safety of this region of space. Your primitive weapons would be useless against even one of our smaller vessels. When Martinez returned to the Horizon, She found the bridge humming with activity. Her officers looked up as she entered. The diplomatic approach didn't work, she announced. They've given us 6 hours before they take action against us. We have a bigger problem, Garcia said. 2 Confederation warships just came out of faster-than-light travel. They're much larger than the escorts we saw earlier. The main screen showed 2 massive ships moving toward the station. Each one was shaped like a crescent moon with glowing points along the curved edge. They made the human vessels look tiny by comparison. Those are Dominator-class battleships, Wright said. From what I've gathered, they're among the most powerful ships in their fleet. Captain, Chen called from her station. I'm picking up a transmission from the station to those ships. They're discussing securing the primitive vessels and making an example of us. Martinez's face showed no fear. Then we've learned all we need to about the Confederation's true nature. She pressed the ship-wide communication button. All hands, this is the captain. Prepare for possible hostile action. This is not a drill. She turned to Dawson. Begin powering up our real systems. Disengage the camouflage fields. The engineer nodded and began entering commands into his console. It will take about 20 minutes to bring everything online without them noticing. Miller, send encrypted orders to the other ships in our fleet. Tell them to prepare all systems but wait for my signal. Powell approached the captain with a data pad. I've completed my analysis of their shield frequencies. There's a cycling pattern that creates a 3-second window of vulnerability every 42 seconds. Send that data to Tactical, Martinez ordered. Wright, program our weapons to target during those windows. Already on it, Wright replied. The next hour was tense as the human ships quietly prepared while appearing to be doing nothing unusual. The 2 massive Confederation warships moved into position on either side of the small human fleet. They're boxing us in, Miller observed. Chen suddenly straightened at her station. Captain, incoming transmission from Commander Zix Valor. On screen, Martinez ordered. The alien commander appeared, looking smug. Captain Martinez, I see you've noticed our additional security vessels. I hope their presence helps you understand the wisdom of accepting our protection. We're still considering your offer, Commander, Martinez replied calmly. Perhaps this will help you decide faster, Zix Valor said. Those ships have orders to disable your vessels if you attempt to leave without signing our agreement. For your own safety, of course. Of course, Martinez said. We'll have our answer within the hour. When the screen went dark, Martinez turned to her crew. Status? All systems ready, Dawson reported. The other ships in our fleet report the same. They're powering up weapons, Wright warned. I don't think they're going to wait for our answer. Martinez nodded. Neither am I. All hands, battle stations. Raise shields. The bridge lights dimmed, slightly as power was redirected to the ship's true systems. Captain, Garcia called out, the Confederation ships are moving into attack positions. Martinez sat calmly in her command chair. Send to all Earth ships, execute defense pattern Delta. Reveal true capabilities. She looked at the approaching alien warships on the screen. Let's show them what a human fleet can really do. The bridge of the USS Horizon hummed with energy as hidden systems came online. Panels that had seemed plain and simple now glowed with advanced displays. The ship itself seemed to vibrate as its true power awakened. On the main screen, the 2 massive Confederation warships grew larger as they approached. Bright points of light appeared along their curved edges as weapon systems powered up. They're charging weapons, Security Chief Wright announced. His station now showed detailed scans of the alien vessels that would have been impossible with the primitive systems the humans had displayed earlier. Captain Martinez nodded calmly. All ships activate adaptive shielding. Prepare evasive pattern Omega-3. Commander Zix Valor's face appeared on the screen again. His yellow eyes widened slightly when he saw the changed appearance of the Horizon's bridge. What is this? The alien demanded. Some kind of illusion? No illusion, Commander, Martinez replied. Simply the truth we chose not to share until now. Your deception changes nothing, Zix Valor said with a sneer. Our ships still outmatch yours by every measure. This is your final warning. Accept our terms or face the consequences. We decline your terms, Martinez said firmly, and we suggest you reconsider your hostile actions. The alien commander made a sharp gesture, and the screen went dark. They've cut transmission, Chen reported. The warships are moving into firing positions. All hands brace for impact, Martinez ordered. Miller, execute evasive pattern now. The 5 human ships suddenly scattered in different directions, moving with a speed and grace that shocked the approaching alien vessels. Instead of the slow, clumsy movements they had shown before, the human ships now darted like fish in water. The lead Confederation warship fired a massive energy beam at the horizon, but the human vessel simply wasn't there when the beam reached its target. The horizon had moved faster than the alien targeting systems could track. Their weapons are powerful but slow, Miller observed from tactical. They're used to fighting large, sluggish opponents. Captain, Chen called out. I'm intercepting their communications. They're confused and demanding explanations from their scanning crews. On the space station, Commander Zix Valor watched in shock as the small human ships effortlessly avoided the powerful weapons of his warships. How is this possible? He demanded of his officers. You said their technology was primitive. It appeared primitive, one officer replied nervously. They must have been concealing their true capabilities. Back on the horizon, Martinez watched as the human fleet executed a perfect formation change that further confused the alien targeting systems. Right. Are their shields cycling as Dr. Powell predicted? She asked. Wright nodded. Yes, Captain. We have a 3-second window every 42 seconds. Target their propulsion systems, Martinez ordered. Disable, don't destroy. The USS Horizon suddenly pivoted and accelerated toward the larger of the 2 Confederation warships. The alien vessel fired again, but the human ship seemed to shimmer and blur as the beam passed harmlessly through what appeared to be a ghost image. Phase shift drive working perfectly, Dawson reported from engineering with a grin. They're firing at our echo. The real Horizon appeared behind the alien warship. A series of precise energy pulses shot from the human vessel, hitting the exact points where the alien ship's shields were weakest. The massive warship shuddered as systems across its hull went dark. The other human ships executed similar maneuvers, dancing around the second Confederation warship like wolves around a much larger but slower bear. Their coordinated attacks struck, with surgical precision. This is impossible, Commander Zix Valor shouted as he watched his mighty warships being systematically disabled by vessels a fraction of their size. These humans can't have this level of technology. On the horizons, Bridge Chen looked up from her station. Captain, the second warship is targeting our smallest vessel, the Nova. Martinez nodded to Miller. Execute protection protocol. The horizon suddenly appeared between the endangered Nova and the alien warship. A shield of shimmering blue energy expanded from the human ship, absorbing the powerful alien beam without showing any signs of strain. Return fire, Martinez ordered. Target their main weapon arrays. The horizon fired what looked like small, glowing projectiles. They bypassed the alien ship's shields entirely, attaching to the hull near the weapon emplacements. Seconds later, the warship's weapons went offline. In less than 5 minutes, both massive Confederation vessels floated powerless, their engines and weapons disabled by the precise attacks of the human fleet. All enemy ships neutralized, Captain, Wright reported, with satisfaction. Minimal damage to their life support and critical systems as ordered. Martinez stood from her chair. Open a channel to Commander Zix Valor. The alien's face appeared on screen. Gone was the smug superiority. Now his yellow eyes showed shock and confusion. What are you? He asked, his voice trembling slightly. We are humans, Martinez replied simply, a species that has learned never to show all its cards at once. How did you? Those ships are our most powerful. Size isn't everything, Commander. Martinez cut him off. Neither is raw power. Precision, efficiency, and strategy matter. More. She took a step closer to the screen. Now let's discuss new terms for our relationship. First, you will recall the probes you sent toward Earth. How did you know about? Second, Martinez continued, you will acknowledge Earth and its colonies as sovereign territory, not subject to your protection. The commander seemed to shrink. In his chair. The High Council will never... Third, Martinez pressed on, you will explain to your leaders that if any hostile action is taken against human worlds or ships, what happened today will seem like a friendly greeting compared to our response. The alien was silent for a long moment. You deceived us, he finally said. No, Martinez corrected him. You jumped to conclusions based on appearances. A dangerous mistake in space exploration. We simply allowed you to underestimate us until we learned your true intentions. On the Horizon's bridge, the crew watched as the once arrogant commander struggled to process what had happened. I will convey your terms to the High Council, Zixvalar said at last. Martinez nodded. Good. And Commander? You might want to mention that this was only a small exploration fleet. It doesn't represent the full extent of human capabilities. The alien commander's eyes widened even further at this implication. We'll remain here while you make your report, Martinez said. I look forward to beginning more honest diplomatic relations. As the screen went dark, Miller turned to the captain. Do you think they'll believe that this isn't our strongest fleet? Martinez smiled slightly. They have no reason not to. After all, they believed we were primitive based on appearances, alone. And that, Dr. Powell added, is why you should never mock a small fleet until you know where it's from. 3 days had passed since the short battle. The human fleet remained in position near the space station, their true capabilities now visible for all to see. The sleek hulls of the ships now glowed with subtle energy patterns that had been hidden before. Weapon systems that had been disguised as simple maintenance ports were now clearly visible. Captain Martinez sat in a large meeting room on the space station. Across from her was not Commander Zixvalar, but a much older alien with pale blue skin that seemed almost translucent. Small lights glowed beneath the skin, pulsing gently like stars. I am Admiral Tholak, the elder alien said in a deep, resonant voice. I represent the Council of Elders. I came as soon as I received the report about your demonstration. Thank you for coming, Admiral, Martinez replied. I hope we can establish better relations than our first contact suggested. The Admiral's eyes, which looked like swirling galaxies, studied Martinez carefully. In 300 years of Confederation history, no new species has ever hidden their true capabilities from us. It is unprecedented. Miller, sitting beside Martinez, spoke up. With respect, Admiral, your standard approach to new species gave us little choice. Explain, Tholak said simply. Martinez nodded. Earth has observed the Confederation for nearly 15 years. Our long-range probes recorded how you approached and absorbed other developing species. The pattern was clear. The Admiral's eyes widened slightly. You were watching us before we knew you existed? Yes, Martinez said. We saw how species that appeared weak were treated as resources to be harvested. Those that showed strength were treated with respect. So when we decided to make official contact, we chose to test your intentions. By appearing primitive, Tholak concluded. A clever strategy. Dr. Powell joined the conversation. We studied your cultural signals and communications. It became clear that the Confederation judges others primarily by their apparent power. The K. Admiral was silent for a moment. Your assessment is accurate. The Confederation began as a military alliance. That mindset has shaped our approach to expansion. Earth has its own history of powerful nations exploiting weaker ones, Martinez said. We learned from those mistakes. Tell me, Tholak said, leaning forward, if Commander Zixvalar had offered fair and equal terms from the beginning, would you have revealed your true technology level? Yes, Martinez answered without hesitation. We came hoping for honest friendship. The deception was only a precaution. The Admiral nodded slowly. I understand. He paused, then asked, the small fleet you brought, is it truly representative of Earth's capabilities? Martinez smiled slightly. These 5 ships are our newest Explorer-class vessels, but they represent only a small fraction of Earth's fleet. This wasn't exactly a lie. Earth did have more ships, though not many more advanced than these. And the technology you displayed? The Admiral pressed. The phase shifting, the adaptive shields, the precision targeting systems. Standard equipment for our deep space missions, Martinez replied. We believe in quality over quantity. Frank Dawson, who had joined them for the meeting, added, Our approach to technology focuses on efficiency rather than raw power. Your ships use 10 times the energy ours do, with less effective results. Admiral Tholak turned to face the engineer. You studied our systems that closely in such a short time? Dawson nodded. It's what engineers do. The Admiral made a sound. That might have been a chuckle. Indeed. He turned back to Martinez. Captain, I must apologize for the Confederation's approach to your species. Commander Zix Valor has been reassigned. No apology needed, Admiral, Martinez said. Cultural misunderstandings are common in first contact situations. Nevertheless, Tholak continued, the Council of Elders has authorized me to offer Earth full membership in the Confederation, as equals, not as a protected world. Martinez nodded. That is an offer we can bring back to Earth's leadership for consideration. There is more, the Admiral said. We would like to propose a technology exchange program. Your efficiency designs for some of our range and power. Advancements. A fair trade benefits everyone, Martinez agreed. As the meeting continued, Lisa Chen entered the room and whispered something to Martinez. The captain nodded and turned back to the Admiral. Admiral Tholak, I've just received word that Earth has dispatched diplomatic vessels to continue these discussions. They should arrive within 2 weeks. Excellent, the Admiral said. In the meantime, perhaps your engineers could help restore power to our disabled warships? Martinez smiled. Of course, as a show of good faith. Later, back on the USS Horizon, Martinez met with her senior staff in the conference room. Well done, everyone, she said, looking around at her crew. Earth Command is pleased with the outcome. The Confederation now respects us, and we've avoided what could have become a difficult war. Do you think they'll honor the new agreement? Miller asked. Admiral Tholak seems sincere, Powell said. The elder species of the Confederation appear to have a different perspective than the younger, more aggressive ones. Either way, Wright added, they won't be underestimating humans again anytime soon. What happens now, Captain? Chen asked. We'll stay until the diplomatic team arrives, Martinez answered. Then we continue our exploration mission. There's a lot more galaxy to see, and a lot more first contacts to make, Miller said. Let's hope the next ones start better than this one did, Dawson said with a chuckle. Martinez looked out the window at the massive space station. Already she could see changes in how the aliens moved around the human ships, with caution and respect instead of dismissal. One thing is certain, she said. The Confederation has learned an important lesson about judging by appearances. Powell smiled. A lesson as old as human history, never judge a book by its cover. Or a fleet by its size, Wright added. Far away in a grand chamber on the Confederation's capital world, Admiral Tholak was addressing the Council of Elders. These humans are unlike any species we have encountered, he told the assembled leaders. They think differently. They plan for threats before they materialize. They conceal strengths rather than display them. One of the elders, a massive crystalline being, chimed softly. Are they a danger to us? Only if we make them so, Tholak answered. They seek friendship, but they will not be controlled or exploited. I believe they could become our most valuable allies, or our most dangerous opponents. What do you recommend? Asked another elder. Respect, Tholak said simply. Treat them as equals, learn from them, and perhaps change our approach to other new species as well. The great chamber fell silent as the elders considered his words. And one more thing, the Admiral added. Update the Confederation records. Immediately. Earth and human space should be marked with our highest caution rating. The label should read Approach with Respect. They are far more than they appear to be.